Hi guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to chop the cage on my Honda Pioneer. This is a 1003 model. I want to get bigger tires, so I'm going to knock off 4 inches because I can, with the portals on it, I can barely get it in the garage. I mean, it scrapes it with the roof on it. So I'm going to take a little out of the top so I can put more on the bottom, if that makes any sense. I've already got the cage off. It's just 2, 4, 6, 12 bolts. 14 bolts because there's 2 in the back. So basically what I would recommend is, I did this myself. It helps if you have somebody with you. But if you're going to do it alone, I would undo the top. I would undo the 2 in the back. And then I would do the back first because it's heavier than the front. And then get that off by yourself because the top will kind of still hold it together even though you don't have a bolt in there, you know. It'll kind of keep it together. And then I do the front because the front doesn't weigh anything. So anyway, I've already cut, taken it down and cut an end off. And this is an 1 5/8 inches. So if you get an 1 1/4 pipe, it's going to be just too big to go in there. So there'll be some grinding to get it in there, but this stuff's really thin wall. It's probably 0.95. So anyway, yeah, I'll show you how I cut the pipe, how I line it out so I can get it as straight as possible. I mean, if we do get a little crooked, I guess we could always grind it and, you know, weld it. But anyway, I mean, what I'm going to put in here is going to be stronger than it ever was before, so I'm not really worried about doing this. And looking at this and how thin it is, it's not really the best roll cage on the planet anyway. So I mean, it's I've seen a lot of bent ones, and now I know why. And as big as this thing is too, there's a lot of leverage on it because this thing's huge. So actually shorten it may actually help it. So anyway, I'll just get started here and show you how I'm going to cut off these pieces, and we'll just go to town. So just to kind of explain what I did here is I took my tape measure and I measured about 2 inches now from the weld, depending on where you do it from. I mean, it's obviously more there than it is there. So just approximately 2 inches, just enough so I can get some pipe down in there to hold it so it'll be nice and strong. And then from there, I just went 4 inches and made another tape, and I marked it, and I tried to get it, you know, perfectly even all the way around. And if you lay it flat and kind of, you know, it takes some doing, but if you lay it flat and just kind of press your finger over it, it should wrap around fairly easy. So now we're going to cut it. And what I did with the other one, which seemed to work out really well, was I started it with a hacksaw. That way I can get that groove in there, so when I'm putting this on there, it's not bouncing around. It's got a groove to work in. So that's what we're going to do. And it takes a second to get it started. You know, and it doesn't have to be dead on perfect, but you know, the better it is, the better it'll work out. You know, just take your time with it. And I kind of like to go, you know, get it around it a little bit. That way you can see what you're doing. And get into it a little bit. And make sure you got some meat on it. And then press it all the way up against it. Get it in that groove. And then I just kind of, well, let's see, it bounced on me. straight as you possibly can. And that, my friends, is pretty straight. So, anyway, there's 4 inches out of it. So, let's see how good we got, or how close we got. Well, it's a little less than 4 inches there. Yeah, about the same all the way around. Maybe a 1/16. No, about the same all the way around. That's pretty good. So, anyway, I'm going to do the other side now and clean it up. Then we'll get to grinding on some of this. This is what I got. Like I said, it's 1 1/4 inch ID, so it's 1 5/8 OD. So that's a lot thicker than it's in there. So it's never going to bend there. So I'm not really worried about it. I'll probably cut off, since this is 2 inches deep, probably cut me a 4-inch section. What we'll do is, once I get it ground down, I'll show you this, of course, we'll go ahead and just slip it in there. You know, I want it to slide in there fairly easily, not like sloppy, but that way we can bolt this back up onto the frame and just slide it down there. That way I can make an alignment mark, or I can tack it while it's all bolted up. But just make an alignment mark so we don't get our, you know, so don't do something like that. Anyway, when we get there, I'll show you. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, because it's very difficult to get 4 inches out of this, because you can't cut it out of here because of this bar. So I can take about 1 inch out of here, and then we'll just raise it up into here. I'll weld the plate in there, drill a hole, tap and drill a hole, drill a hole so we can mount it, and then just cut off the excess. But I'm gonna take 3 inches out of here. This is just under 1 inch, so by the time I cut it, it'll be 1 inch. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it off here and here, put a slit in it here, and then cut these welds out so I can get this pipe out. Then I can take this and set this back down in here, so I'll have this support plus the pipe there, and then the pipe, you know, the inner sleeve there too as well. So that way it'll come down and sit inside this cradle. So hopefully that'll give it a little more support. Either that or I'm gonna really screw this cage up. So anyway, another thing I noticed that was kind of odd are these bungs. This one's facing this way, so is this one. So that's pretty funny. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. Alright, I'm gonna cut this stuff out. Y'all don't need to see it, so I'm gonna go to town. Okay, so this is the back of the cage. I've cut it, as you can see here, down into here. So I'm gonna have to cut this portion. I'm gonna have to trace it and cut a notch out of it and weld it down onto it. Now I've only got 2 3/4 taken out of here. I'm gonna take another inch out of here. So I've got about 1/4 inch I can finagle with. And unfortunately, the rear of the roll cage is thicker than the front. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just, hey, one day China had this steel and the next day they had that. I have no idea. I think it'd be the same. So as I was making the collars or the sleeves to go inside, I had to grind down pretty much just to get it into this one. So into the front. So they won't fit in the back. So what I did is I bought some 1/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch square stock, which I'll show you later. Then I'm gonna go ahead, cut this out, and I'm gonna run it all the way down. So basically what I'm gonna do is cut this out, both sides, put my square stock in there, which I'm gonna have to grind down just a little because it's a little too fat. So just 2 sides ought to get me a nice tight fit. Slide this down on it, and then I gotta measure my point from here to here on both sides so I can make sure this bar is level with this. So that way that doesn't get off. Then I'm gonna have to come in, since I've got the bar all the way down, which I do want, then I'm gonna have to like trim around and then pull this piece off with that bar on there. Then I can take out what I want here, boom, put it back in. That way I got a solid bar in there. And that way if it rolls over, this thing will never bend. I mean, it'll bend here and stuff, and maybe here, but it'll never bend here. It'll actually give me quite a bit more support. So cutting this out is going to be tricky. So I got a plasma cutter I've never used. So maybe we'll go that route. Maybe we'll just, who knows? Maybe just cut and match and cut and match. It's probably what's gonna have to happen. Stick me some bar down there, set it down, trace it out, you know, do that number. So anyway, I'm gonna get started. If I get a decent setup here, I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, so this is what we got. I'm gonna freehand trace, I guess, this back side around here, up in there, so it can sit down flush with that, and then I'll run that bar all the way down in there and then weld it up, and then I'll cut this and smush it back together, make some adjustments, make sure everything's okay, and then tack it up and then probably weld it back together. So anyway, that's the idea behind it. This is going to be the fun part, trying to freehand trace that. Anyway, maybe I can get a piece of paper or something, a piece of cardboard, and yeah, that's a good idea I just had. All right, anyway, until I turn it on again. Bye. So I had an idea. Put that on there, trace it out, cut it in the back, wrap it around, and do my grinding on here. And that should make a perfect template. That's awesome. I'll have to put the bar back on and put the plug back in so I can line up these points, so I can make sure I cut it, you know, line it up correctly. But hell yeah, I think that'll work. Anyway, give it a shot. Okay, so I got it all chopped up. I got it tacked back together here. So that lined up pretty good. We'll weld that up. I gotta measure, cut some out. I'm about a 1/4 inch long on the back. But see, that bar runs all the way through into here to about right here. So see on the other side too. So yeah, and I just gotta kind of measure the bars. I know I'm a little longer on one side than the other. I'm gonna have to cut these off and make custom tabs because these are a little too long. And it's weird. I don't know if your guys' Honda looks like this, but see how that sits with this on the inside? Obviously that's pointing the right way. Same thing with this. They just took tabs instead of flipping them around. It's really bizarre how they did this. This side and this side, you would think that this one would be flipped, you know, so they match. Same here. So as you can see, the outside is here, but over here it's on the inside. So anyway, to measure it, I'm going to do it like that, I guess, so I can get an accurate reading on it. But anyway, yeah, that's it. So I'm going to get to welding and grinding, and I'll show you the end of the product when it's done. So I got it welded back together, the top part anyway. Still got to do that, which I'm working on. I got to line it up in the cage first so I can mark it. So anyway, not too bad. Switch to the bottle makes a lot of difference. So I just want to give it a little update. Got the fronts welded in, both sides. I have to clean them up some more. I'm not the best grinder, but I got some tools. So, and then we got these little collets in here, these little sleeves. Fixing to measure that and cut a piece, and I'm gonna weld it while it's all bolted up, so I know that it's where it needs to be. So I've got that done on both sides. So this is about 1 1/4 inch is what I had to put into it after taking 4 inches out of here and 4 inches in total out of here and here. So as you remember, this was a little under 3, and this was about 1.5 inches, so about 2.5 inches to total up to 4. So anyway, that's what it looks like now. Okay, here it is with a coat of black enamel on it, Rust-Oleum. It's got some ripples in it from the grinding, but there's not really much you can do about it. I mean, you can spend hours on it trying to get all these little, because that's a weld and that's a weld, you know, trying to get all that out. But it'll be fine. I think it'll look all right when it's done. Anyway, all I gotta do now is tighten this up and then weld some tabs on there and then get this guy painted. So until then. Alright, so I got the roll cage done. It's finally all together. You can see a couple of where the welds were, of course. And don't use that Rust-Oleum spray paint that you see in the big giant bottle at Lowe's. I mean, that one that's huge, you know, that big giant spray can. Don't use it. It sprayed out just fine, and then I went to second coat it and it put this weird texture on it. So I'm probably going to take this roof back off and go have it powder coated or even bed lined. And I missed a sanding spot right there, but I needed to get it on because I want to do my roof. So anyway, not too bad. I mean, you're not going to get that perfectly straight. I mean, if you are, I guess you could Bondo it and all that good stuff. But yeah, see, texture, and then it's smooth. It's just really weird. So anyway, I hope you guys like it. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see more videos, which I don't make a lot. So, but anyway, when they come out, you know, they're there. So anyway, you guys have a good day.